The one thing I've learned about crypto is irrespective of where the prices are going up or down, there'll always be a narrative that is tied to what's currently going on in the market. And if you look at the narrative right now, well, it's this: the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is cleared to sell $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, which was seized from the Silk Road asset. So the question is, what sort of effect will this have on the market? Where are prices most likely to go next? And what can you look out for opportunities in the altcoin sector? We'll cover this and a whole lot more in today's show. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get straight into the show content. Of course, covering this tweet over here. And you can see this was, of course, the source was from DB, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗏 posted, not too long ago. Of course, this is a pretty reliable source over here. But if you do go into the details, well, what you will see over here is that the federal judge ruled on December the 30th that actually they could sell those Bitcoins. So what sort of effect would that have on the market? Is it cause for concern? Well, if you look at 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗙's tweet over here, he actually posted this transaction last month already that billions would move to Coinbase from the Silk Road wallet, and the deal will probably go through via an OTC deal, which are picked up by the likes of people like Michael Saylor, as well as some of the ETFs, the spot ETFs over there. So probable quick absorption when it comes to this. We'll look at the effect that it could have on the crypto markets. You can actually see the Silk Road wallet right over here. So the funds are still in there. Nothing has actually been sold as of yet. And to give you perspective on how quickly this can all be absorbed, well, if you look at, of course, 𝗕𝗫𝗖𝗓𝗓 here, he says last year $379 billion entered into the market based on realized cap. That is roughly around $1 billion per day. The US government selling $6.5 billion would therefore be absorbed in a week, right? Exactly 7 days. Do not panic. It's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world. So that is something that you can have a look at. We actually have a real life example of exactly what happened when Germany did the selling. And the Muppets in Germany sold massive amounts of Bitcoin, much more, right? They sold 42,000 Bitcoin in just a week, right? 250 Bitcoin sold per hour, $63,000 to $53,000 was the price drawdown, right? So you went from 63K down to 53K, a 15% wick. Of course, this is a tiny amount in comparison to the 42,000 Bitcoin, which of course Germany sold, right? So let's see how things unfold. Are the Democrats going to dump this right before, of course, Trump comes in with the inauguration? Only time will tell. But at the end of the day, the levels are there. The levels remain the same. We covered that yesterday. Most specifically, the $85,000 as a very, very key point. And then if you do lose that, yes, you could dip down into the high 70s, but you probably find some support over there. So we'll have a look at that and a whole lot more in today's show. Again, just to clear the air over there, get that out of the way. If we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, remember we did create this order block over here, which I labeled in real time, that was likely to catapult prices higher. Well, you actually may be doing something similar over here as long as the total cryptocurrency market cap can defend, of course, that $3 trillion mark. This creates the environment where you form yet another order block that could send prices higher, right? So as long as we keep consolidating within this range over here for the total cryptocurrency market cap, that is absolutely vital. If you do so happen to get a full throwback like we've seen on some of the other majors following the break of the neckline over here, that downsloping trend line, well, that would mean it would come down to 2.65 trillion. This would probably be in a worse case scenario if you do see that, let's say the US government actually do end up market selling those coins. Well, that would give you that other 18%, 15 to 18% drawdown on the total cryptocurrency market cap, which likely becomes your final opportunity, right, to get allocated. So Total 2, also very, very similar picture. Still haven't yet taken out the all-time highs. Remember, we also studied the timing cycles over here, and the timing would suggest that we should see a major top coming in around October. That was 77 weeks or 77 bars, around 540 days. Of course, from the halving date to the point where you put in that all-time high, right? So we're not yet at that point. If you look at Total 3 as well, same thing, still in this range over here. It has not actually even left the trading range. Total 3 referring to the altcoin sector. So still waiting to get clearance above that $1.16 trillion mark. which we're yet to see. So when alt season, right? Well, we spent a very, very short amount of time within that alt season index zone over there. And now you've had a full reset back into the midline. We've spoken a lot about the significance and the importance of those midline levels, that being the 50% level. So breaking back down, this is a valuable reset coming into that 50 mark. We have seen this happen previously where the market finds major support over there. And in fact, you're actually getting a huge reset over here, of course, on the crypto market cap RSI heat map, right? So the RSIs are all being reset over the last 24-hour period. What was previously trading in the strong to overbought territory has now flushed back down, right? If we look over here as well on the weekly, just for a bit more perspective, everything now trading back into fair value in the neutral zone, right? Neutral would be fair value. Typically, you want to pick your coins up when they do drop in an uptrend, if it's still an uptrend, of course, but the RSI does dip back down into the weak zone. That is your, second-lived opportunity where you can start to get a great entry into some of those altcoin positions. The Fear and Greed Index yesterday was trading, of course, in the 70s, so still in greed, and yet again, we're still in greed, but we have dropped down to 69. So we are seeing the needle move ever so slightly, despite the fact that this thing does look broken. I guess maybe crypto people are a lot more resilient than the stock market, with the stock market trading in the fearful zone on their Fear and Greed Index. We are trading at 69 over there. So let's say if there is a market sell that comes from, of course, the US government, and they drop those Silk Road coins down the drain, well, ultimately that will probably get you back into the neutral zone, which is always an opportunity similar to that RSI coming back into the 50 zone, as well as, or the neutral zone, as well as the altcoin season index coming back into the neutral zone, that being the 50 zone. That is your healthy reset within the market, right? I forgot to bring this chart up yesterday. I really missed something over here, because we have seen this pattern on repeat, right? So shout out to Don Crypto Trades, who's been following along with this. Pretty much the start of every single month, ever since June, we've had a dip, right? Every single start of the month, dip, and then price moves up, right? Dip, price moves up, dip, price moves up. And so the story repeats, right? So the question is, are we getting exactly the same thing once again? Is this a shakeout? Price-wise, here are the levels to remain. Well, yesterday we dropped down to 92,000. Let's just quickly look at that, $92,500. Very, very, very key point over there. We're still holding up above the stop and reversal indicator. We have not yet broken that. If we do break that, remember, you do have massive support over here, which is currently rising. Then it would look something like this, right? Breaking the stop and reversal indicator means a probable drop down into that $85,000 region, where you do then have your 30 MA, which is currently rising towards the upside. And depending on when that happens, you should catch that as major support, and that can elicit a little bit of a bounce, right? So as it currently stands, things are still heavy, right? Don't be mistaken. Not much has changed based off of yesterday. Things do still look heavy in the sense that at the end of the day, you had a bearish engulfing candle on the daily that didn't just suddenly evaporate. It's still present, right? There's your bearish engulfing candle, followed by yet another day down. On a closing basis, it's still bearish, right? 1, 2 candles that are red. If this third candle turns red over here, the chances will become increasingly higher that this is going to drop down towards that $85,000 level, which if we just line that up and extend the chart a little bit over here, you can see that's your 0.382. So first major area of interest. If you lose that level, well, then this is going to be the huge support, right? 9 times out of 10, I'll always be a buyer coming into a conglomerate of EMAs like this, the 200 EMA on the daily, as well as the 200 MA on the daily, especially when it matches up with a high confluent area such as the 50% fib level. So we will be paying attention to this, keeping eyes on this, give it a little bit of time. Of course, prices could easily rebound, right? They could easily rebound. So you don't want to have no exposure to the market. You could definitely see something like this, and it could be front run. The reason that I say that is we've actually witnessed multiple times throughout this crypto cycle, which would have been over the last couple of years, where obvious key levels keep getting missed, right? The last one would have been this one over here. Price came down to $49,000. At the time, everybody and their mother were targeting the $45,000 to $44,000 key horizontal level over here, and we missed that ever so slightly. So don't be surprised if you do see a slight miss from those levels, right? So I still have my exposure. All that I'm doing different is I'm not allocating any new capital yet, right? If we do get a deeper dip and we come down, maybe I'll be willing to put a few more chips on the table. Otherwise, I'm simply just waiting, right? I'm simply just waiting for key levels to be reclaimed. If we look over here, of course, at the 4-hour time frame, we highlighted this area as a question mark zone, right? We should call it the question mark zone because there's no certainty over here, right? So higher, low, question mark, right? Question mark, is it going to be a high, low, or are we simply just range bound? If it is going to be a high, low, this is exactly where you would expect the high, low to form, at which point price on the 4 hours should then defend that candle low over there, which is 92,523. We don't want to see any candles go below that, which means you should immediately start to see some buying pressure come back in. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see your stochastic RSI is bottomed out and it's starting to turn back up. So of course, it does create the possibility that you do get that spike. If you do lose those levels in the very, very short term for the low time frame traders, your next level of interest then is going to be to watch what happens over here at this range low. I've marked the white line as the ultimate range low, $91,650. That is the level to watch. Again, as mentioned yesterday, then you might be looking at something like this: sweep below, reclaim. If you can hold that, that activates a low time frame trade where you can trade it up to here and then up to here. So midline at just under $100,000, range high coming in at just under $107,000, right? So we'll watch that very, very carefully. The reason I say it's a question mark over here is because we don't know yet. We don't have enough information yet to determine, is this the start of an uptrend based on what we covered yesterday, the break of structure? So the break of structure was when you cleared this last lower high, and then you created your very first higher high, which came in right over here. And now are you creating your first high low, or are we simply just range bound, right? Unsure. We're not sure yet. I said yesterday that the probability will be higher that we simply just range bound, and we can base that statistically on two things. Number one, it's statistically proven that markets range more than they trend, right? About 70% of the time, you can just expect that the market is moving sideways, chopping between two levels, a range high and a range low. And about 20 to 30% of the time, you'll actually see the market trend. And we just came off of a trend, right? So that's the one reason. The other reason is we have so much high impact economic data coming out over the course of this week, plus a lot of these other headwinds, right? Things like this coming out over here. And as mentioned, we know that this is a little bit of a nothing burger right now, but the crypto markets absolutely love narratives. People trade off narratives, and this narrative has the ability to shift the psychology of the market, right? So it is something to keep an eye out on over there. Given what the market is currently doing, and it increases the odds that you're probably going to continue to chop until most of the psychology shifts in one direction, whether bullish or bearish, and then makes the determination for the next major move, right? Which would be either a markup, expansion towards the upside, or it's going to be distribution and expansion towards the downside, which obviously most of you are probably not looking for. So we can look at the USDT dominance here as well. If we do take a look at this, of course, same thing, right? Same thing as Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, and no surprise because this is USDT dominance on the 4-hour time frame as well, which is almost inversely related, right? Because this is also chopping within a trading range, but instead, like Bitcoin USD, which is coming into the range low, you have, of course, the USDT dominance, which is coming into the range high. So if we can see a meaningful rejection from this resistance level, well, then expect on your 4-hour that holds your range lows. That means prices are probably going to bounce from that 91.6 level, and then you should see a little bit of a drop over here in the USDT dominance. Bitcoin goes up ever so slightly, and then that has implications on the higher time frames where it will start to look like maybe you did front run some of these levels, right? Maybe you see something like that. Maybe then you did front run these levels. You start to reclaim some key points, put in a macro high low over there, and then we continue to mark up, right? So a lot of things going on over here. Every single week as of late has really seemed like bulls are on a knife's edge, constantly trying to defend price action and hold things up. And the big elephant in the room, of course, remains that trading volume, right? We need to see the trading volume come back into the market. It does continue to remain low. So pay attention to the trading volume. I'm not going to bring it up now. It's going to take a bit of time, but at the end of the day, the volume continues to decline over there. Okay, if we look at Bitcoin dominance over here, also still downtrending for now, but very, very, very close to putting in an uptrend over here. Remember what we were looking at yesterday is we do want to see a rejection from, of course, this all-important mid-range, which is the pink line at 58.25%. So we want to see weakness over there. If this starts to reclaim this, typically Bitcoin dominance goes up in a risk-off environment. So when the rest of the market is feeling fearful, scared, unsure of where things are going to go, that's where you typically see the only trades that people want to take is Bitcoin trades. And that's why you see Bitcoin dominance running up. But when the market is sure of things, when the market feels confident, comfortable, and at least wants to put some risk on the table, that is typically where you see that Bitcoin dominance drop. And that's where the altcoin sector does very, very well. So here's a key point. We are coming up towards that. As it currently stands, your Bitcoin dominance is exactly how far away from that key mid-range level. Well, from the mid-range, you're about 0.5% away. And from the point where you start to take out that last lower high, you're about 1.2% away. So 1.2% away before some major decision-making zones, right? We can look into the altcoin sector. It's a very, very quick update over there for you guys today, specifically on Bitcoin. But let's take a quick look over here at the altcoin sector. You can see Casper still hovering around this region. Remember, whenever something is in the middle of no man's land, typically that's not the best place to execute a trade. What you want to do is you want to execute your trades at the extremities, and the extremities would be the range low, right? That's going to be the closest extreme to where current price action is. Otherwise, it needs to reclaim the mid-range, which looks less likely right now. This has a higher chance of dropping down to 0.096, right? So just looking at this as one arbitrary altcoin, how far can things potentially go? Well, 16%, right? Very, very similar to what we covered on Bitcoin and the total cryptocurrency market cap. If there's mass selling, you'd be looking at around a 15 to 16% drop over there. Okay, Phantom still in the midst of its breakdown. Let's see percentage-wise as well. How far would that be? Same thing, right? Around 15%. So 15% is a possibility for a whole lot of these coins. Let's have a look at Solana as well, just covering some of the larger caps over here. Now, Solana is definitely at a major key point, and the reason why is because you definitely have this pent-up liquidity over here, right? So you wouldn't want to see Solana break this pent-up liquidity, which it currently has at this zone over here, because if it does, similar to what we covered in Phantom, it means a possibility of a move all the way back down to the mid-range level, which would be around $162 for one Solana. That would be around also 15 to 16%. So everything is pointing towards the possibility of getting that. Solana has seemed slightly stronger, at least in the sell-off recently, compared to the others. And I think it's got a lot to do with this particular chart over here, with the fact that, it's already come back into its range high level over here. So there we go, into the range high, and it does have that 30 MA support, which is significant on the 5-day time frame, and that's currently sitting at about $179, right? So that is Solana. If you want any other coins, drop them, of course, in the comment section over there. I will make sure to bring them up. Okay, let me have a look at some of those coins. Some of you say you want Rune. Sure, let's bring up Rune. We'll have a look at Sumi as well. So there's Rune. Terrible, right? Rune heading straight back down to the bottom of the trading range. Expect that it's going to come into around this $3.20 zone. So a hard lesson for many, many people in the significance of holding a Bitcoin heavy portfolio leading into the halving cycle, right? At least into the halving cycle. As you can see, sometimes the Bitcoin dominance continues to extend well beyond that point where, many of these coins are back to the same levels that they were at, in May of 2022, February of 2022, January of 2022. So you're talking about 3 years later at break even, right? Which is not a very good trade. This is why you need to pay attention to the charts, continue to monitor them. Let's have a look at Zeus. Zeus is another one of the coins that we have allocated into all the way down at the bottom of the range over here. This is also the importance of profit taking from strong coins into or coins that you do well in, like this, right? When you have these big moves, profit taking into things like Bitcoin or any major coin that is outperforming Bitcoin, right? So for a long time, Solana was outperforming Bitcoin. So you could rotate a lot of those profits into Solana, for example. So Zeus doing very, very well. We spoke about this previously. It's chopping about over here. It has had a big move, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a trading range develop. If that trading range does develop, 65 cents would be the area of interest. That's going to be your range low. But it depends on when you hit that 65 cents level, because if you come into it very, very soon, you have a chance of still closing multiple candles above the upsloping trend line, which keeps this parabolic advancement's hopes alive, right? But if you don't, and then you can expect more of a ranging market on Zeus. Okay, so that is Zeus over there. There's a lot of coins that are doing very, very well today, right? I was actually super surprised. Our very own early pick, right? One of the earliest, at least in terms of the YouTubers and Twitter accounts out there, or X accounts out there, to find Goku. And if you look at Goku, super, super strong. It's doing really, really well, holding up at that $15 million market cap, still looking good. And in actual fact, I saw this tweet as well from them. While the rest of the market tumbles, Goku shows that cyan strength, right? That super cyan strength. It's the top gain on Binance, which is a crypto exchange they were listed on, and it's number 3 on 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗙, which is pretty big, right? Number 3 on 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗙 is huge. Take a look at it. Remember, you can trade Goku if you do want to. You can do it on 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗙, right? 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗙 is actually one of our partners. There's a link in the description below. They're giving you up to $20,000 in sign-up bonuses. So for anyone new out here, all you have to do is complete these little quests over here, small little tasks, and basically unlock funds. As you complete each of those tasks, you'll unlock funds. You do need to use this specific link over here in order to qualify, because it is a Crypto Banter partner. All right, let's continue. Let's have a look at some of the other coins. Some of you are asking for 𝗕𝗘𝗘. We can have a look at 𝗕𝗘𝗘. Okay, let's go to 𝗕𝗘𝗘 USDT. There it is. So all the way on the top. All right, so 𝗕𝗘𝗘 coming into the top side of the trading range. Key point over here, you definitely do want to see support found over here. What I don't like to see, those in terms of the closing candles, it is definitely starting to put in that lower low and lower high structure on a closing basis, right? Remember, you can very easily remove a whole lot of the biases by clicking on the candles over there, moving over onto a line chart, and this will give you a little bit of a better indication, focusing specifically on those closing candles. You can see, let's change the color over there. Those are, of course, lower lows, and we have something similar over here with, of course, lower highs. So you need to see this level defend as a range, right? It is possible that this is going to be a range high specifically on 𝗕𝗘𝗘. This is the key level to hold. That's 1726. But you can imagine, of course, if Bitcoin does drop 15-20%, this could easily come all the way back down into the mid-range. Meme coins are going to always move at a much higher rate than what Bitcoin is, both to the up and the downside. Okay, so that is 𝗕𝗘𝗘. Let me know what else. Some of you say, okay, 𝗕𝗬𝗓. We can have a look at 𝗕𝗬𝗓 as well. We can have a look at 𝗕𝗬𝗓. Let's have a look at 𝗕𝗬𝗓 quickly, and then we'll go to 𝗕𝗬𝗓. 𝗕𝗬𝗓 USDT. I don't know if I've even brought this chart up. Let's go to the MEXI one, because they always list so quickly. All right, so this is the only history that I have. Unfortunately, we can go into a lower time frame. Similar to the rest of the market, I think it would be wishful thinking to think it will put in that high low over here. Ideally, you would have something like that, and it'll defend this level. But it doesn't look like that's what's happening to me right now. I think that your most likely outcome is you're going to revisit all the way back down to the bottom of the trading range. This is going to be the main area of interest before you find interim support, right? This little order block over here, there we have it, tested into that zone. I think 𝗕𝗬𝗓 probably comes down into 0.03, between 0.028 and 0.03, right? Okay, let's go into daily again. We'll have a look at 𝗕𝗬𝗓. So there it is. All right, 𝗕𝗬𝗓 also, just like everything, right? Coming down, key point, it's rejecting from this. It's starting to look like a deviation. When you do deviate a trading range, well, you can expect a move down into, at the very, very least, the 50% level of the trading range. So if we look at the trading range, of 50% level is 472. I'd expect a little bit of a sweep into that region, and then you can reevaluate for possible reclaim. Failure to reclaim means a move all the way back down to 347, right? That becomes possible, that you could move all the way down to 347 on 𝗕𝗬𝗓. All right. Yes, we can look at GOAT. We can look at 𝗙𝗧𝗎. Let's go to 𝗙𝗧𝗎 and then to GOAT. How's 𝗙𝗧𝗎 doing? I'm also curious for myself. Okay, so there it is. Huge move up. Let's see, structurally. Structurally, you're going to have to look again, probably down to about 0.0264, right? That would be the main area of interest that I'd be watching, which means you're going to probably sweep that wick low that you put in a couple of days ago. Okay, let's go to GOAT. How's 𝗏𝗏𝗏 doing? 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is looking a little bit worse than it was yesterday. Okay, that butthole stings, right? That butthole does sting. It's about to take out the lows over there. If it does, maybe you're going to find a little bit of support, about 75% down from the exact top. That would take it to about 0.0332. 0.0332. All right, let's not get too distracted. Somebody did ask for GOAT, so let's pull it up. How is GOAT doing? There we have it. Oof. Okay, looks bad. GOAT straight down, right? This one is starting to look like an absolute rug to me, right? It was range bound. We're going to have to clear all of this up over here. Failed the whole trading range. I came very close to adding this into my portfolio. So obviously in hindsight, very, very glad that I didn't. This is a straight downtrend, lower lows and lower highs. We don't have too much to work with, unfortunately, in terms of the technicals. The last support that we have, at least on this exchange, which is BitGet, is all the way back down here. I can quickly have a look just on CoinGecko. So let's quickly have a look over here. Let's just see more or less what this one looks like on a higher time frame chart, because they go to its maximus. Let's go on max. Okay, I mean, it looks like full distribution, even on this chart. As you can see towards the left-hand side, there's going to be very, very little support over here. You do have a little bit of support coming in at about 21 cents. So going back to this chart, 21 cents would line up around, let's just add it in over there, somewhere within this region over here. Percentage-wise, what are you looking at? If this persists, could be another 46%. So heavy wreckage on a lot of these coins, right? They're getting absolutely smashed over here. Nice alt season. I hope you guys enjoyed 2025 bull run. The end. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Look, let's give it a little bit of time. The market will rebound. I don't believe, as I've mentioned before, I don't believe that the bull run is over. But of course, like any trader with risk management, I will 100% be adjusting things if new volume doesn't come in very, very soon, and we don't see some sort of a rebound from the market in the coming weeks, right? So the fact, though, that you have smaller coins like this doing very, very well shows you there is still an appetite for risk, right? When the bull market ends and you move into a bear market, you'll see most of these coins just suddenly absolutely nuke. This is a more rotational game. You have to be much smarter in how you're currently trading the market, right? The cycles are definitely getting tougher. I actually had a tweet about that. Here it is. Cycles are getting tougher, right? You need to work harder to outperform the broader market. You see a lot of OGs now in the space specifically talking about this. And he says, I don't know if we're just washed out or what, but you should always be evolving your trading game, right? Always evolve your trading game, always prepare, always monitor the chart. The chart's the ultimate source of truth. High highs, high lows is the name of the game. If you want to catch a trending market, buying range lows is also the name of the game. If you do want to trade the trading range, right? And short selling the range highs. Also, speaking of which, if you do want to learn more about trading, guys, there is Whale School, right? You have 20 days, 4 hours left to join. Use the link in the description below. Make sure that you sign up. There's Whale School. And for those of you that do want to join into Whale Room, the private group, that is just below that. Remember, Whale School is totally free. You don't have to pay a cent. All you need to do is sign up before it's full. That's the most important part. And if you do want to join into Whale Room, that is, of course, a paid server where there's a lot of other traders and coaches there to help you along your journey, as well as me as well, right? Sharing my day-to-day portfolio changes. All right, Render. Let's have a look at Render. Let's go to Render. Render USDT. How's it looking? Okay, Render. Pull it up over there. So Render most likely coming down to the white line. That's how it currently looks. I think it will probably find support just before that, because you do have the 50% of the wick, although that was kind of filled. So I would give you between about 626 and about 660, right? That's going to be the key area of interest. I'd watch for a little bit of support to be found there. That's your key range level. That's your range. So could you go deeper? Of course, right? You could definitely go a little bit deeper into this region over here. That would be as low as 5. But basically, as you witness and watch the drop, if you do sweep it and you do something like that, then you have an invalidation. What you're looking for is the sweep of the white line. Forget about how deep it goes, but you're looking for the sweep of the white line and then the reclaim. When you see it reclaim like that, that becomes the trade, right? That's where you have the trade opportunity. All right, we can have a look at Atom. I see there's a request on Atom as well. Atom coming into a key level actually. So this is your prior major resistance, broke back up, led into a massive bull run, support, right? You deviated through back, and now you're back into support. So very, very similar to the commentary on render. What you're looking for over here is, this is heavy. This is heading down. It's probably going to drop below this. You're probably going to see something like this. It's going to lose the pink level. But when you see the reclaim and you witness that reclaim, that becomes your deviation because you'll get the drop and then you'll get the test, right? Maybe it attempts to reclaim, rejects, and then it goes down further. That's why I would exercise patience. Theoretically, if you're in this trade, you could probably exit right over here and you'll be able to enter later at the same price or lower with a much safer entry, right? Okay, let's go to Ondo. We did bring up Ondo yesterday, but we can have a look at it again. So Ondo losing a super key level over there. This is headed down, right? This is headed down. Next area of interest, let's just actually quickly see something in terms of the majority of this trading move. You are losing your 50% level, which is not a good sign. You do have confluence of your 0.786, which lines up with that prior major support, this SR flip region. That's 89 cents, right? That's the next zone that I'd be looking towards on Ondo. Okay, Mantra is still holding up. Absolutely unbelievable trade. First buy was down here, second buy over here. So let's give it with an average entry in between the two of those. Still up over 1,000% for the whale room members that got in very, very early on this particular trade. Huge trade. Well done to everyone. All right. AI16Z is dumping so hard. Frenchy Rider says over there. Let's have a look at AI16Z. I told you guys yesterday or the day before that I believe that when it comes to the AI agents, that this is peak hype, right? Peak hype. AI16Z, I'm pretty sure that I had this. Let's just quickly scroll to the bottom. I want to go to the chart that I had, and I'm pretty certain that I drew this one up. Is it not over here? Otherwise, I'll pull it up. I'm pretty certain. Okay, I'll have to pull it up again. Somehow it's disappeared. AI16Z. There it is. Okay, I found it. AI16Z. There it is. Okay, so I spoke about this. I said, in a trading range, but it looks very, very heavy. Watch for the sweep of the low, and then this thing may be going down. So that's exactly what you're starting to see. It's the same thing as virtuals, right? Losing that level over there means that you open up the possibility of dropping all the way back down to your next major support, which is going to be 82 cents. Absolutely super hyped. We can actually look at virtuals as well. I'm assuming virtuals is doing something similar. Okay, 10% down. There it is. You broke the upsloping trend line. So I spoke about that. I said, be careful. As soon as you break that upsloping trend line, you are slowing the momentum down, right? The uptrend down, you're slowing that down, and then you can start to look towards the next major support. Let's also quickly just check from the origin of this move to the 50% level. Where's that lined up? There it is. Okay, so you do have some confluence over here. You might get an interim bounce on virtuals from this zone over here. Let's make it yellow. There it is. There we go. 290, right? 290, but it's coming down hard. I think it's going to sweep through this. And then you can watch to see, is there a little bit of support found, right? So maybe it sweeps it, and then you get a little bit of a bounce, and then you can look at that. But I do believe that this AI agent narrative is incredibly hyped. It was peak euphoria. Remember, we brought up, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, right? Monday or Tuesday, I brought it up with the Wall Street cheat sheet, and I showcased, where we situated on the AI agents. And I said most likely between euphoria and the complacency phase, right? Somewhere in that zone over there. So I do think that this narrative will have to cool off. I'm not saying it's over for the cycle, they can pick up and run it again, but it has to have some sort of a cool off. There are going to be, some major pullbacks. Okay, we can look at Pulse AI. Let's pull that up over here. Pulse AI, there it is. Okay, this one's not too bad, right? Looking pretty decent. I don't have all the trade history over here. There was a lot of, I think this over here, there was some big problem over here. I can't remember exactly what it was. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you remember what happened over here, but I think they resolved that problem. There was some FUD around it at that particular point. That was on the 12th of November. Had a massive dump, recovered all of that, high highs, high lows. So at some point, you are going to put in a high low over here. The question is, where's the best area to get an entry if you do want to, right? So to me personally, best area to get an entry is going to be somewhere around here. If you are going to continue to defend that structure, that was also your, there we go. Avara says it was the Fetch AI merger, and the market did not like that at all, right? That was the initial drop that you got specifically on Pulse AI. So I'd be looking at something like this. If there is a pullback on Pulse AI and you want to get allocated in, I think that you'll get a chance at some point in the future around 32 cents, right? You're looking for something like that around 32 cents. Okay. What else have we got? There is another opportunity for you guys as well, by the way, when it comes to the gaming sector. This just came across my desk literally this morning. So you will have to read all the things in the description. If you go through to Funtico over here, go to Funtico over here. You can join my team. Again, I just got this literally this morning, so I haven't had a chance to play the game myself, but I'm going to do it straight afterwards. There is a Formula Funtico battle, right, where you get to race these cars and you get entered into a pool where you can win. I believe it's, let me just double check. I believe it's like $100,000, right? $100,000 or something worth of prizes. Where there's a $15,000 prize pool. It's a gaming studio, and then you get added into another tournament later for a $100,000 tournament, right? And that's going to be around the TGE. So there's no VCs involved with this as well. They do have a token that's allocated to it, but essentially, it's kind of like Super Mario. If you look at the game over there, you can go through, use the link in the description below, sign up, join my team, right? I haven't even joined my own team yet, but I'm going to do it straight after the show when this is done, because I got this literally as I was going live. It looks really, really cool. It looks super fun. Super Mario game. Earn while you play, right? The play to earn narrative will eventually come back, and the truth is you can actually still make money on that. All right, let's continue. Turbo, let's have a look at Turbo. How's Turbo doing? Because Turbo is both a meme and it's part of that AI narrative or AI agents narrative, because Turbo was launched using ChatGPT. So there it is. It is at key support, right? This is the level. Very, very important area of interest. I would want to see the zone hold. A lot of numbers over there, but 0.0076, right, in that region over there. Let's look at WIF as well. We said WIF was not looking good. It wasn't looking good. We treated it more as a range-bound trade right now, and it's coming down towards a key level. So let's just see WIF just overhead. There it is. This is what we're looking for on WIF, right? This is what we're looking for on WIF. So I'll be the first to stick up my hand and say I got absolutely rinsed on a WIF leverage long trade a couple of months back when we had that massive flush towards the downside. And I think I made a super wise decision by not adding any more margin into that trade, right? And had I done that, I would have just doubled down and lost even more. So that's the lesson, right? Don't double down into losing trades unless you had the plan of action to permit into a trade from the start, right? If that was initially your plan to, buy small amounts at the top and then start to build a bigger and bigger position as it goes down, that's fair game. Do that. Again, I teach all of this in Whale School. Make sure you join Whale School. If you're not already in Whale School, I will elaborate on this more during the live workshop sessions that we have. But, don't ever double down into losing trades unless you plan for it. Planning for it would look like this, right? You identify an area of interest and you say, hey, I'm going to nibble into the trade at the top and I'm going to build a bigger and bigger position as it approaches the key level. So there is WIF. It's looking absolutely horrendous. But it is coming into a key zone, and very, very soon you should see some sort of a reaction. It could drop another 25% to test some of this wick over here and the liquidity down here. And then if it reclaims back above the white line, which is 152, then it's going to be looking okay. Let's see, what are the banter bubbles looking like right now? So Still red on the hourly. Daily, everything's still red. Yeah, AI16Z, one of the most red there. Remember, a lot of the coins that are the most red will be the first to rebound. So AI16Z, virtuals, these are your, call it your blue chips, unbelievably. 40% down on a blue chip, 35% down on a blue chip in one day. But if you did, feel extreme FOMO and you never pulled the trigger when it comes to the AI agent narrative, and you think that this is life-changing and going to change the world, well, there's your opportunity coming into those key supports. And that is on a weekly, right? So weekly scale, heavily knocked, but most of the damage has been done just in a day, right? Monthly, well, you can see there are a few coins in the top 100 that are still up a lot on the monthly. Let's see, 100 to 200. Okay, let's see quickly, 200 to 300. All right, wood. Okay, cool. Those are still up. Remember, you can also see on Banter Bubbles the live feedback on the charts, right? So you can see as things are changing on the 1 minute performance live. This is useful when Bitcoin comes into key support or key resistance to look for opportunities on in terms of what's moving first, right? Okay, let's have a look at a couple more. What else have we got, guys? Let me know in the comments. I am keeping an eye out on it. IMX, Mavia. Yeah, we can have a look at some of those. Let's see, is there anything else? Cool link. All right, let's go to some of the other coins that you requested. IMX, we haven't bought this up forever. I would imagine, though, that these are very flat, right? So there it is, IMX, pretty low volume, pretty flat. There's your ultimate range low. Will you get there? I'm not 100% sure. Only time will tell, but if you do come into 80 and you hold that level, that's probably the zone where you're starting to look to allocate, right? Mavia, let's quickly have a look at Mavia. Where did it go? Let's just do that again. Mavia, try that. Mavia. Here we have it. There it is. Okay, this one's been rinsed. Mavia's been rinsed. This was the key level you would have wanted to see a range low hold, but instead, as you can see, consolidated at that level and just nuked. So I am terribly sorry for your loss. This one is not looking good. Definitely not looking good. I wonder what's going on over here. Let me know in the comments if you guys know if there's something specific going on with Mavia that it's dropping like that. Because you can see it looks almost like, a market sell by some big fund or something. Who knows? Okay, 𝗬𝗎. Yeah, let's go to 𝗬𝗎. We must go to 𝗬𝗎. Definitely an important one to be looking at over here. So the market looks bleak. I'm not going to lie. Definitely does not look good. It looks absolutely shocking. This is still one of the strongest coins that are out there, putting in massive high highs and high lows. But eventually, you are going to break this upsloping trend line over here. And when you do, it's going to form a massive ranging market. And I think that the most obvious place for the range to move back down to, or the range low, is going to be around $2.90. So there's no way I would buy 𝗬𝗎 over here personally. If you're not already allocated into 𝗬𝗎, I would personally wait for a little bit lower prices. First area of interest, I'll get interested just below $4, right? Why? Because this is a key SR flip, right? Previous resistance, price came back, held it as support, 390. If it loses 390, then you could look down to about $2.90. Okay, we can look at Link. Let's see how Link's doing. Or are there any Link Marines? Any Link Marines left? Well, you hit your ultimate range high over there and you did start to reject from that zone. Now you need to look back down towards the mid-range, which is very close to. So I would just be viewing it like this. There it is. That is your mid-range 19, right? You can see how everything lines up over here around that 19 mark. Previous, mark of 2 areas over there. There we go. And let's have a look at that. So there it is. You can see previous resistance comes into this zone, wicks into there with big support, forms a little bit of an order block, leads to the price move up, resistance, and then ultimately resistance, creates a little bit of an order block, rallies up, and now you're coming back into that zone for potential support, right? So that is your mid-range level. Can come a little bit lower around, but you don't want to give up this whole massive candle. That's the only problem, the candle that occurred on the 2nd of December. But I would wait for strength to occur above this level. So if it is marking down, because there's a good chance that this will keep, just marking down, right? It could do that. So you want to see strength, right? You want to see something like this, and then that's your deviation back into the trading range. Okay. There's another one that you guys are requesting, 𝗬𝗢𝗓. Let's have a look at it. How is 𝗬𝗓𝗓 doing? There it is, 𝗬𝗓𝗓. Okay, we've not looking good, right? We did also cover this yesterday. Now you're back into the old trading range. So you have to look to 1336 as your first area of support. And if you fail 1336, well, then you're looking down to 1084. So the gains can be evaporated very, very, very quickly, right? So, you're at the point in the cycle where you really need to be selective in terms of which coins you are going into. If you do want to learn more about this, guys, you can always pick my brain. We do live Zooms and things. We're doing one today that is going to be in the whale room on the Discord. Other than that, I will catch all of you on tomorrow's stream. I hope you have an absolutely stellar day. Pray for volume, right? Pray for volume to come back into the market. I'll catch you on tomorrow's stream. Have a great day, everyone, and cheers for now.